Last few months, I've been reading a lot of books on how to be the greatest dad ever. Yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm finally ready to call my dad and tell him how much he sucks. Yeah, I'm not a fan of my dad. I'll tell you why. When I was 10 years old, I went to an amusement park with my family. And that place was really crowded. So my mom was very worried that I'll get lost because I was the youngest. So she kept nagging my dad to take care of me. And after a point, my dad, he couldn't take it anymore. So he pulled me aside and he was like, Vikram, I have 5 kids to take care of. If you go missing, I won't try to find you. And that scarred me for life. Because I have only 3 siblings. I don't know why he said 5 kids. My favorite moment with my dad was when I was in middle school. He said, hey, we need to have a talk. I said, Pa, what's up? He said, hey, you shouldn't see our relationship as father and son. That's it, that's all he said. Just like you all, I was waiting for him to say something after that. Nope. It's like, Pa, people usually say something after this. He was like, oh yeah, good talk. Yeah, after that day, whenever I had to wish my dad on Father's Day, I'll be like, Happy Father's Day, with 5 question marks. But you'd be surprised, it was still better than the talk he had with my brother. Yeah, he told my brother, hey, it's time we had a talk. And my brother was like, what's up? And my dad was like, hey, you should see our relationship as 2 friends and not see our relationship as father and daughter. Yeah, my brother got pissed off because he didn't say good talk after that. Another thing about my dad was I've always seen him pissed off, always. The only time I've seen my dad happy is when we had a dog. He loved that dog. Whenever the dog was around, he was so happy. But unfortunately, one day, someone left the door open and the dog ran away. And my dad, he was so hopeful. For the next 1 week, he refused to close the door. He was like, if the dog can just leave like that, so can the kids. So I left, and that's why I'm here. My dad used to crap a lot when I was growing up. He used to crap a lot. But you know what he'll do? Whenever he was crapping, he'll throw in a stat or 2 and make it so believable. However absurd it was, those stats will just make it believable. When I was young, I used to keep pestering my dad for money. And one day, he lost it. He was like, Vikram, did you know that 7 out of 10 times the kids who keep asking money from their dad would get hit by a truck? And 9 out of 10 times, the truck driver is also their dad. Yeah, I was sitting at home trying to solve what's the probability of your dad running you over with a truck. Yeah, this is why Indians are good in math. Told my mom what happened, and she was like, Vikram, what's wrong with you? That's never going to happen. Your dad can't afford a truck. The only time my dad was helpful was when my brother got married. Yeah. After a few months, he came back home and he said he wants to divorce because he was having intimacy issues. My dad heard him say that. So after that, he went up to my brother and he was like, hey, did you know that 10 out of 10 men who have a beard have no intimacy issues? He was like, what, really? And then my brother believed that, and then he grew a beard. And then guess what? Everything got sorted out. So after he came back home and he was like, Pa, how did you know that this will work? And my dad was like, simple. If you grow a beard, 1/3 of your face is covered. Enough about my dad. My mom is awesome. Mom is awesome. The one thing that used to bother my mom growing up was unexpected visitors. But my dad was okay with it because he was one of them. That joke usually gets an applause break when there are way more brown and black people. Another thing which used to bother my mom was the relationship my dad and me had, right? So any opportunity she got, she'll try to fix it, right? And I've never hugged my dad, never, not even once. Once I almost did because of my mom, right? It was after college, I got my first job, went to my mom and I said, Ma, got my first job. She got very excited. She came, she hugged me. Then she said, Vikram, I know how much dad has helped you in his own way. Go tell him you got a job and then give him a hug. Like, Ma, I'll tell him, but I can't give him a hug. Vikram, do it for my sake. Like, no way. Vikram, I'll give you $50. It's like, Mom, don't bring money into this. Nothing less than $100. She was like, fine, go. Then I was like, give me money up front. She was like, no. You'll get your money after you go hug your dad, and then he'll tell me how disgusting it was. I said, fine. So I went to my dad and I said, Pa, I've got some good news. He's like, what? I said, I got a job. Then he was like, okay, when are you moving out? I can leave the door open. I said, no, I'm not moving out. The job is here. He's like, okay. Are you going to pay rent? I said, no. Then he was like, why did you start this conversation by saying you have good news? I said, Pa, got a job, and I'm really excited. My first job, I want to say thank you by giving you a hug. It's like you got a job, and you're not moving out, and you're not going to pay rent, and you want to give me a hug. And you still desire to start this conversation by saying you have good news. This is exactly like the time when your mom said she has good news, and then she said she was pregnant with you. I was like, I should have asked for way more than $100. And I was like, Pa, I'll just give you one hug. It's like, why? Why do you want to hug me? What happened? Did mom tell you something? Did your doctor's office call? Did they tell your mom that I'm dying? He said, why you want to hug me? I'm like, Pa, relax. Mom didn't tell me you are dying. If she did, I would have started with that good news. I was like, Pa, let me just give you one hug. We'll get done with it. Then he knew something was wrong. And then he was like, hey, did mom put you up to this? He said, yeah. And he was like, how much? And I was like, $100. Like, fine. Go tell your mom we hugged. And then give me $50. But I did learn one thing from my dad, right? I have to give it to my dad for this because I still use it. I realized that you can say the most dumbest thing possible, but if you add 2 words, it'll sound super smart. However dumb it is, these 2 words will fix it. These 2 words are metaphorically speaking. Say the first dumbest thing that comes to your mind, add these 2 words, it'll work. I'm telling you. I learned this from my dad. One day my mom came out wearing a new dress. She looked at my dad. She was like, hey, how is this? I think my dad was really stressed. He looked at my mom and he was like, hey, you're looking really fat. My mom was like, what did you say? My dad was like, you're looking really fat, metaphorically speaking. Is there a metaphor there? No. Does it mean the same? Yes. With the minute he added these two words, that's it. My mom started thinking for my dad. My mom was like, okay, I guess. Thanks for the feedback. And my dad called my mom fat and she said thanks. Because of these two words, metaphorically speaking. In fact, I see a lot of men here. This will be very useful for you because we're used to saying dumb things all the time. And all the women here, just, sometimes your man won't know that he's saying dumb things. Just keep adding these two words. You can listen to him all day, right? In fact, I wish my dad had added these two words to every conversation we have had. Vikram, you shouldn't see our relationship as father and son, metaphorically speaking. Vikram, if you keep asking me for money, I'm going to run you over with a truck, metaphorically speaking. Vikram, I have 5 kids to take care of, metaphorically speaking. That one still sounds dumb, but if my dad had added these two words to every conversation we have had, I would be standing here telling you all that I love my dad and I hug my dad every day to tell him that he's the greatest dad ever. Of course, metaphorically speaking.